Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
When I lost my mom, it felt like the world lost its color. Life as I knew it came to a standstill. At 22, I was paralyzed by grief, unable to fathom a way forward. Work was a daily struggle, friends began drifting away, and I was left to navigate my sorrow alone. The only solace I found was in my mom's belongings, which I often sorted through, searching for a connection to a happier past. Each item told a story, a faded photograph, a handwritten note, a piece of jewelry. I spent hours poring over these remnants of her life, trying to piece together the woman she was before she became my mother. It was during one of these melancholy afternoons that I stumbled upon a small, intricately designed pendant. It was simple yet beautiful, with an engraving of a small flower. I had never seen it before, and its mystery captivated me. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months. Each day, I forced myself to go through the motions. Wake up, go to work, come home, and cry myself to sleep. The weight of my mom's absence was suffocating. I avoided her favorite places in town, fearing that I might see someone who knew her and would ask about her. The pain was too raw, too consuming. One evening, as I was sifting through her things, I found a journal. It was leather-bound and filled with her neat handwriting. I began to read, and through her words, I felt a connection to her that I desperately needed. She wrote about her hopes and dreams, her love for me, and her regrets. Tears streamed down my face as I read about the life she lived before I was born. She was vibrant, adventurous, and full of life. Knowing her in this new way brought me a bittersweet comfort. Emily grappling with a devastating loss, setting the stage for an emotional journey of discovery. Stay with me as we uncover the heartfelt twists and turns that follow. One particularly bad day at work, I found myself sitting on a park bench, tears streaming down my face. People walked by, seemingly oblivious to my despair. Suddenly, a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a gentle smile approached me. "Excuse me, do you need help?" His voice was filled with genuine concern. At first, I didn't want to talk, but something in his eyes made me trust him. We began to talk, and I found myself pouring out my heart to him. About losing my mom, my relentless pain, and my crushing loneliness. "My name is Michael," he introduced himself. "There's an open position at my company. Would you like to give it a try?" His offer felt like a ray of light piercing through my darkness. I agreed, and soon I had the job. Michael became my mentor, offering not just professional guidance, but emotional support during my hardest times. He was patient and understanding, always willing to lend an ear or a shoulder to cry on. Over time, our conversations deepened. We shared lunches in the park, discussing everything from work challenges to personal dreams. Michael's presence became a comforting constant in my life. He encouraged me to pursue my hobbies, like painting and writing, and helped me find joy in small moments again. One rainy afternoon, as we sat in a cozy cafe, Michael shared a story from his past. He talked about a time when he felt lost and how a kind stranger had helped him find his way. His story resonated with me deeply, and I realized how much he understood my pain. His empathy and kindness were like a balm to my wounded soul. The story of how Michael and I met is just the beginning. What happens next will leave you in awe. Months went by, and the company was abuzz with preparations for a big corporate event. I wanted to wear something special, so I started going through my mom's jewelry. Among her things, I found an old pendant that had always seemed special to me. It was simple yet beautiful, with an engraving of a small flower. I decided it would be my symbol of remembrance for my mom. The event was important, and I wanted to look my best. I spent hours picking out the perfect dress and matching accessories. As I stood in front of the mirror, fastening the pendant around my neck, I felt a surge of emotion. It was as if my mom was with me, her spirit giving me strength. That night, as I walked into the venue, I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The room was filled with colleagues, all dressed to impress. I mingled, exchanged pleasantries, and even danced a little. For the first time in months, I felt a sense of normalcy returning to my life. As I made my way through the crowd, I couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. There was something magical in the air, something that made me believe that this night would be different. I joined a group of coworkers, laughing and chatting, trying to push away the lingering sadness in my heart. The night of the corporate event was in full swing. Laughter and conversations filled the air as Emily moved through the crowd, the pendant around her neck catching the light with every step. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, trying to enjoy the evening while still holding on to the memory of her mother through the precious piece of jewelry. Michael, her mentor and newfound friend, was mingling with colleagues when he spotted Emily across the room. His gaze fell on the pendant and he froze. His eyes widened and his breath caught in his throat. It was as if he had seen a ghost. "Emily," he called out, his voice trembling slightly as he made his way toward her. She turned to face him, a smile on her lips. "Michael, I'm so glad you're here. This event is amazing." But Michael's eyes were locked onto the pendant. "Where did you get that?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper, filled with a mixture of shock and emotion. Emily looked down at the pendant, touching it gently. It was my mother's. I found it among her things after she passed away." Michael's face went pale, and he reached out a trembling hand to touch the pendant. "I gave this to a woman I loved very much many years ago. Her name was Jennifer." Emily's heart skipped a beat. "Jennifer was my mother's name," she said softly, her mind racing. Michael's eyes filled with tears as he looked at her. "I loved your mother deeply. I gave her this pendant just before I left on a business trip. I was held captive for 2 months. But my father," I began, feeling a mix of confusion and hope. "Your father?" Michael interrupted, tears welling in his eyes. "I was him. When I came back, your mother was already expecting a child and got married. They thought I was missing because I couldn't contact her." The room seemed to spin around me as the weight of his words settled in. Tears streamed down my cheeks, my heart pounding in disbelief and hope. All the pieces of my life started fitting together in a way I never imagined. "Dad?" I whispered, my voice cracking. Michael's eyes filled with tears as he nodded. "Yes, Emily. I'm your father." In that moment, the years of pain and loneliness melted away. I stepped forward, and he wrapped me in a warm embrace. The hug was filled with a sense of belonging I had yearned for my entire life. Feeling the steady beat of his heart against mine, I knew I had found my father. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she listened to Michael's story. "She always wore this pendant," she whispered. "It was her most cherished possession." Michael sank into a nearby chair, his hands trembling. "I never stopped loving her. And now, seeing you with that pendant, it's like she's here with us." Emily sat down beside him, her heart heavy with the weight of their shared past. "She must have loved you very much," she said softly. "She never spoke of you, but I could see the sadness in her eyes sometimes." Michael looked at her, his eyes filled with a mixture of pain and longing. "I wish I could have been there for her, for you. But now maybe we can find some solace in each other." As they sat together, sharing stories of Jennifer and the lives they had lived apart, Emily felt a sense of peace wash over her. The pendant had brought them together, bridging the gap of lost time and rekindling a connection that had been severed so long ago. "I'm sure you won't want to miss what comes next." Over the following days, Michael and I spent countless hours talking. He told me about his life, his regrets, and his undying love for my mother. We shared stories about her, and through his eyes, I saw new facets of the woman who had raised me. It was as if I was meeting her all over again, through the memories of the man who had loved her deeply. As I got to know Michael, I discovered he had married and had 2 children, a boy named Alex and a girl named Sophie. They were now my half-siblings. The thought of having a brother and sister was both exciting and nerve-wracking. Our first meeting was filled with awkwardness and tentative smiles. Alex, the older of the 2, was initially distant and protective. Sophie, younger and more curious, quickly warmed up to me. We began spending time together, sharing stories about our lives. They told me about their favorite memories with their dad, and I shared stories about my mom. Gradually, we grew close. Alex taught me how to play his favorite video games, and Sophie and I bonded over our love for books. We started to feel like a real family. They accepted me with open hearts, and I realized I had gained more than just a father. I had gained a brother and a sister. Our weekends became filled with family outings, movie nights, and shared laughter. We would gather around the dinner table, exchanging stories and building new memories. The bond we formed was strong, built on trust, love, and the shared loss of our parents. We went on picnics in the park, played board games, and even took a family trip to the beach. Each moment was precious, a step toward healing and creating a new, blended family. Alex and Sophie became my confidence, my partners in crime, and my support system. They accepted me fully, and I, in turn, embraced them with all my heart. One weekend, we decided to go camping. We spent the days hiking, fishing, and telling stories around the campfire. As we roasted marshmallows and gazed at the starry sky, I felt a profound sense of belonging. For the first time in a long while, I felt truly happy. The journey of Emily's new life with her family is filled with love, growth, and unforgettable moments. Don't miss the beautiful conclusion to this heartfelt story. Since then, my life has changed dramatically. With Michael by my side, I felt stronger and more confident. We often talked about my mom, reminiscing about her, and I knew she would be proud of us. We became the family I thought I had lost forever. And at that moment, I realized I had found not only my father, but a whole new chapter of my life filled with love and connection. In the end, the pendant became a symbol of the enduring bond between my parents and the newfound connection with my father. It was a reminder that love, even when lost, can find its way back, bringing with it the promise of new beginnings and the healing power of family. This story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of love. Through the pain of loss and the joy of discovery, we find that the ties that bind us can never truly be broken. Thank you for joining me on this emotional journey. Stay tuned for more heartfelt stories.